former state champion, 86 in the fly in the 500, and 85, 86 champ in the medley relay. David Fix, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
As I was talking about, it seems that certain programs have it figured out in what to do at the state meet. Was that something that under Dave Bart, there was a formula every year, you knew what you were going to do leading up to the state meet, and that's how you performed at the high level?
Coach Bart definitely had a formula. I will say that the formula changed a little bit each year because, as I recall, his thoughts were, if we do the same thing each year, we're going to get the same results. And so that formula was tweaked each year based on the team as well. But it was tweaked a little bit each year, and based off of the talent that was around at that particular time.
Well, the talent level was really great back then, and certainly you look at a school like New Trier this year, they have so much depth. I was at their conference meet. They had a guy go 50.6 in the fly, shaved, a sophomore. What do you think the most important thing was to those teams or to any team that has to balance all that talent and figure out who's right for what spot?
Well, that's everything. That's the key, I think, to being a successful high school coach is balancing the personalities and the talent. Kids today, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. There's more of them, so the talent it's deeper, and the sectional meet is crucial. I mean, you're not going to win the state meet at sectionals, but you could lose the state meet at sectionals.
You were swimming for St. Charles at a time where there was one high school. Now there's two high schools. The Naperville area keeps getting torn up with these high schools. Do you think that's good for the sport to spread out the talent, or would you like to see, obviously you'd like to see St. Charles be the dominant force they were, but what do you think impact that has on the sport overall?
It's a challenge. The biggest challenge, I think, that when you have the high school coach and then the development keeps switching, then you don't really have the opportunity to develop with the same coach for a long period. And I think that's a real disadvantage. But when I was swimming and prior to that and even a little bit after that, there was only a few schools that were going to win the state championship each year, whether it was Hinsdale or St. Charles or Fenwick, New Trier. There was one or two of the Naperville schools. But now there's dozens. There's 12, 15 teams that have an opportunity where they can win the state championship, and I think that's good. But the development aspect of being split and then different zoning in Naperville and the St. Charles district being split up as it has, it becomes a challenge in developing talent over a long period.
When you think back to your career, what are the moments or the experiences with your teammates that you remember most about this time of the year?
This time of year was very exciting, and when the fellows walked in here with the shaved heads, it brought back a lot of great memories, and it was truly a great time, and the camaraderie and the friendship and all the time that we spent together growing up, and it was a great time, and then our relationship with our coaches and our parents and the families and stuff. It was really just a giant extended swimming family, and it was a very fond memory.
Do you think that, and obviously you have young kids who are swimming now, do you think kids embrace more or less the same, the year-round swimming? Because it seems like they have to with how fast you have to be to compete in this state.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 6, a 9, and a 10-year-old, and as much as I want them to like swimming is in a lot of ways is a disadvantage because you're competing against team sports, and it's oftentimes a little bit more exciting than swimming at a young age. Swimming always has its challenges, but that's what also makes it so unique.
Do you ever go out and attend high school swim meets anymore? You get that itch at all to be around it?
I love to swim, but no, I don't have any desire to get back and compete at all, even at a master's level. But I still like to exercise quite a bit, and swimming is a very nice, peaceful, relaxing way to exercise. But not much more in terms of getting in the pool and racing.
Yeah, it's definitely something that when you're done, you're done, because it's hard to stay in that swimming shape, especially when you were as good as you were.
Yeah, as you get older, of course, swimming is such based on timing, and then that timing never goes away.
Yeah.
So 100 pace is always going to be 100 pace, and the older you get, the slower it is.
And you talk about that, swimming is all about time, the clock doesn't lie. What is it like for you to see, like, the times, like you were a state champion in the 500 and the fly. Do you ever look at the times that are state championship times now and go, wow, look how far we've come?
Yeah, that's the one thing that just blows me away is even, the sectional times that I've seen, and then of course the state times, that's the far and away the thing that's really been incredible. Swimming has just come an incredible long way in 25 years in terms of the development, and in Illinois swimming in particular, I think that the Illinois high school state meet is maybe the most exciting meet that I've ever experienced in a long career of swimming. So it's pretty unique, and I think that to be involved in that is pretty special.
What's your opinion on all the suit technology? Obviously, back when you were swimming, there wasn't all this, it helps you float or it makes you more dynamic. It's like you put on a Speedo and you shave the head and you win.
Yeah, that was they made everything equal, I guess. Although it seems to me that the trend is getting towards more of the basics. It seems that they're getting away from the full suits and the super suits and going back to at least jammers, which I think is anything that could level the playing field. I think will help swimming.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's important to sort of be able to say, it's more comparable? So if I look at a guy that goes a 49 in the fly, I can compare that better to what a 50 point was in the 80s?
Yeah, but it's going to happen in sports in general. I mean, different eras. Of course, you can't compare, and in the super times that we're doing in the super suits in 10 years are going to look like times now 10 years ago. So it's all going to be relative.
And I mean, do you think that's just the nature of the beast? Like that's going to happen, or do you think that there should be an effort made to stop it altogether and just we have what we have and don't go any further?
Yeah, in the end, it's you going through the water, and I think that is going to always be the truth about swimming, and that's what's great about swimming is it's not disputable. It's you, the clock, the time, the finish. So yeah, technology may come and go a little bit in swimming, but in the end, it's whoever reaches the wall first.
So the last thing I want to know, you were a state champion, not just as a team, but 4 times as an individual on the fly, the 500 and relays. What's that like to know you're in the mix to be that number one guy?
Well, the one thing that I do remember is going into my senior year, I was a heavy favorite in the events that I was swimming, and that kind of built up quite a bit over the year. And then I remember after the state meet just feeling this unbelievable relief that it was over. I think anyone who's going into the meet as the heavy favorite carries a heavy burden. And, when you're expected to win and you do win, I don't think really people appreciate how difficult that can be. That was the one thing that I remember is when it was all over and the pressure was finally, it felt like $1 million.
So it was more enjoyable for you as a sophomore, junior to climb that ladder than when you finally got there?
Well, the nice thing was when I was at St. Charles, we won 7 straight years, and the big thing that challenged us was filling the shoes of the people that were in front of us. So even though we might have been a promising freshman or sophomore, the seniors and juniors ahead of us were getting much more pressure on them, and they were really in the spotlight. So we were just kind of in the stable of to be grooming into that. So there wasn't a whole lot of pressure until it felt like my senior year.
So even as a junior, when you were on that relay and everything, because it was 3 other guys, you didn't feel as with the individual event when you were the guy up front?
Exactly. I think that my junior year was a lot easier than my senior year in that regard. And my junior year, we had a really dominating team, and In my senior year, it seemed to be we lost most of the guys on graduation, and so my senior year was a little bit more pressure on getting that state title than any of the other 3 years that I swam.
Well, those St. Charles teams are certainly a dynasty that everyone else can live up to. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Skyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
David Fix, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, those St. Charles teams, you can go back and look at some of the times they were going, and they're still competitive today. It's really unbelievable to